everyone, and welcome to the weekly RFOX AMA. It's Lenny Clifford here with Benny Fairbank, the CEO and co-founder of RFOX, and we're in the RFOX VALT, the Calanova quarter, which is in construction at the moment. Benny, how are you today?
I'm very well, thank you. And yourself?
Yeah, doing great. And wow, we've had a big week again. The citizen sale, it has fully sold out. It was good to see that news, and you can now buy them on the secondary market if you've missed out there. Benny, how did you pull off a successful and profitable NFT project during a bear market like this? You know, it's a bear market like no other due to what's going on around the world and what's happened to lead up to this point. What was the success due to?
I think we've just got an amazing community, and I think a lot of people have sort of understand where this is going now. They can see the end vision. They understand where the whole direction is going. Obviously, that's the first part of the sale, so the hard work is still ahead of us, but we've got an amazing group of people that follow, support us, and I think they realise that, the value that they're getting is supreme with voting rights and apartments and standard OGs as well. So can't thank them enough, and without a strong community, your project's dead in the water. But we've still got the second part to go, so a lot of hard work ahead of us, and what we have to do now is really focus on bringing in new people into the ecosystem as always and continue to grow that. So I think that it's getting harder now without any substance or without being able to show people progress. So I think that the ticket right now is you have to have something that's not just a roadmap. You have to be able to show people that you're making continual steady progress. Otherwise it's a tough sell.
Yep, sure is. All right. So it's a completely different environment, now for the NFT markets, and buyers have their increasingly selective set of criteria, don't they? So new challenges ahead for the upcoming sales, and the standard level citizens are next, and there's also the music sale coming up as well. And to make those a success, what's the team working on right now?
Yeah, as stated, just making sure that we're tapping into communities that we haven't tapped into before, trying to make sure that we extend our audience. Now, obviously, the crypto space, it's a tricky catch-22, right? Because if you're targeting end users, you're too early just for us, just a little bit too early. But if you're targeting the crypto space, you're targeting people who are, well, as a general rule, 90 to 95% underwater if they joined at the top. So I think that there's fewer people out there that sort of don't focus on the price and focus on what's being built and the long-term visions than there are that are more sort of worried about the immediate price action. So for us, it's about really sort of trying to make sure that we're educating a group of people that's a slower sell, to try and make sure that we're saying, here's the end product, here's the platform, here's what we've got for creators, and trying to transition those people in, and then building out all of those documentation and the onboarding programs, and making sure that we're ready for people to come on and on board. So I think the fact that we're standing in a metaverse as an MVP, got Arkamoto coming, as you say, we've got Music Quarter and Galaxy, the Science and Tech Quarter still to, haven't even done the shop and land sales for those yet. So we've got lots of stuff in the pipeline. So it's a matter of just really educating people and showing people. And I think having something come into the vault very shortly, being a VR game, that's really going to showcase to people what can be done using our tools and on the platform.
Yeah, great. I wanted to ask you about that in a moment. But first, considering the standard citizen sale coming up, OGs are all sold and they come with traits that would give them more value. But if you're buying a standard level citizen, one view is that you're essentially buying into the RFOX community, the ecosystem, and saying that you want to be part of it, you want to use the avatar. So the question is, why join the RFOX community right now during this phase of the company's evolution?
I think that the most important part for people to understand is two things. One, your avatar will give you voting rights. Now, they haven't been clearly defined yet, but what we've said is, if you look around here, this is Calanova, and what we've said is that the citizens from this quarter will have a say in elements of its development, which is really important because we want we understand that this is not like a normal player-based type of video game or something like that. This is a world that's going to have businesses and lots of people in it. So the avatars will actually give people the ability to say, right, I am one of the characters. I am one of the people in that frequent this space. And I want to be able to have a say in how this develops and put a little bit of an influence into it. So to have those voting rights and to be part of it is one thing. But the second thing is to know that you're getting an apartment, and the apartments are random. So it could be a studio, it could be a penthouse, a floating penthouse. But that apartment space will allow you to host events, have meetups, hang out with your friends. Now with the integration of RFOX TV, sit down and watch stuff together, chill out, have a virtual nightclub, whatever it is that you want, you'll have your own space. So I think getting in here early and getting an avatar is a great way to get a personalised space, especially if you don't want to start up a business and run a retail outlet. It's a personal space to hang out, chill out, and have private meetups. And only people that you invite will be able to have access to your personal and private space.
All right, makes sense. Okay, thanks, Penny. And so you mentioned before a game coming into the vault. So we're going to show some previews of RaSNIA Fear, and that's taking a spot in the vault soon, I believe. Can you walk us through the game?
Yeah, so I'm not the world's biggest gamer, but I understand it's like a capture the flag type game. So how it works is you would go into a lobby area. It's kind of spooky feeling. It's like a dark haunted castle. It's part of a world, and your job is to effectively go in, find a treasure, locate a treasure. You'll get ported to somewhere in this big castle, and you've got a timer, and you've got to find your way out, and you've got to navigate through traps and through ghosts and jump scares and all the rest of it. Get out before the timer runs out to win prizes. You can play that as an individual. You can play that against your mates. So it's a really cool sort of virtual experience. Now, if you don't want to play it, you don't want to be part of the actual playing experience, you can actually walk through and just give yourself a bit of a undie change, give yourself a little bit of a scare. And what we want to do is showcase the immersive experience. And I think that, people have looked at the Vault and said, yep, it's cool concept. When are the graphics going to improve? When are you going to get to X level? As we've said, these are the MVPs. Something like RaSNIA Fear sort of shows, okay, this is what's possible. This is where you can sort of head to as far as graphic levels are concerned. So that gives people a strong indication of that. But also people that are building in the space, to have a game deployed at that higher graphic level and quality also shows that people are cognizant of where this is going, and that it's worth connecting to and plugging into a space like this. So all we've got to do now is work out the scaling side of things to make sure that we can house multiple versions of these types of things. And as soon as people see that this can be done inside of a shop space, we're going to get lots of weird and wonderful requests, which we're already trying to prepare ourselves for.
Yeah, good to see they're tapping into some of the possibilities of VR in the RFOX Vault. Is RaSNIA Fear taking advantage of some of the other parts of the RFOX ecosystem offerings? Like, would they be running a farm or staking pools on RFOX Finance?
Yeah, I believe so. So at this particular point in time, they're going to be using anything that we use from a currency perspective. They're already using, obviously, a shop space. They've got they're deploying on our through our contracts. They've deployed on using all of our tools. We'll be doing a bit of a case study on why that's the case, what the alternatives would have cost. So just as a snapshot, they've done this at a fraction of the cost that it would have cost if they went and set this up somewhere else. And the time to market has been expedited from a little over a year down to about 10 weeks. So it's just a phenomenal showcase of what can be done using our tools as far as cost saving and time saving is concerned. And to have something of this quality launch, it kind of sets the benchmark for where the other shops need to sort of shoot to sort of keep that up. And that's going to be a great attractor for brands and for other big or more established companies to come in as well. Yeah, it definitely shows the capabilities there. And is this more of a custom build, or has it used a lot of the elements of the creator tools and the templates? It's used every tool that it could through our templates. So it used the contract farm that we have, or factory that we have, contract factory, it used the NFT platform. It's using the art generation tools. It's using everything as far as the production side of things is concerned, which is fantastic. As I say, it's going to be deployed through our contract system, and it's also going to be baked into our actual download and APK through the Vault. So to have that all sort of parceled in is the best showcase we could have possibly asked for. And I think that, again, it's going to really push the boundaries for a lot of the shop owners who are asking questions on how far can we take this, or what else can we potentially do here. So this is a great showcase. And if something comes along like a game like this and says, want to plug in, this is something that you sort of say, all right, how do we make this happen? Because this is a fantastic opportunity to showcase. Now, we've got others that are sort of more music or media driven that are looking to integrate as well. So that's the next challenge is how to make sure that we keep up and scale for all of these high quality projects.
Yeah, amazing. Okay. Very exciting what's coming up. And in the Fireside last week, you mentioned Arkamoto is coming. Will that be launched as an MVP? And will that be when Calanova is still in construction, or how will that look?
Yeah, so the idea is that these MVPs will kind of be a work in progress over a longer period of time, and they'll continue to be iterated. So for those uninitiated like myself, when I sit down and talk to a design team or an art team and say, how do you go from this to AAA? They say it's a matter of polishing, refining, sharpening. And you saw the dramatic effect that it had on the sandbox, because we'd put in reflective surfaces, mirrors, and sort of sharpened it up, and it started to really come along. And if you go close to these trees and rocks and stuff, the detail's pretty huge. So it'll refine and it'll get sharper and sharper as time goes on. Arkamoto will come out while this is still in construction for sure and certain. MVPs are what we're aiming to deliver, so one after another. So next will be Arkamoto, and that's very soon. We wanted to try and make sure that the music quarter was actually in its MVP form, so that you could actually walk around it and say, I want to shop over there, or I want to buy that shop over there before the shop sale happens. Whether it's to MVP level or just block out, so just shapes and structure, that's something that's yet to be determined. But Arkamoto is like literally very, very close to being able to do what we're doing here, and that is pop a headset on and walk through the MVP and say, right, I get where this is going.
Yeah, great. When you compare a metaverse build to, say, physical off-the-plan build, are there any similar sort of methodologies that you'd follow?
I think, we've got people that have got architectural experience and stuff on our team that have lots of input and things to say and try to contribute as much as they can as well. But obviously we went through an extensive process and used a very well-renowned firm to help with the visual designs, and then we've got our in-house team that do all of the structural foundations and base layers, and then we've got people that come in and some third parties that also help with asset creation and structures as well. So I think, yes, there is, but we also have to try and take into consideration, for example, we've got a placeholder with the bird sounds, the ambient sounds. You don't want it to be too much like Earth or what you're familiar with, otherwise it's not really an escape or a different place to put your headset on and forget the world for a minute, is it? Has to be a little bit different. So you want to sort of give people enough comfort to say that they know what that is. I know that's a staircase. I know that's water. I know that's the sky. That's all cool. But yet you want to be able to then sort of use your imagination and push the boundaries a little bit beyond that. So it's going to be interesting to see what creators come in and do, because they're going to have flying, floating, holographic, all sorts of stuff in here. So again, our job is to provide the base layer and say, we got it started. Now go finish that and see what you can create with our tools.
Okay, all right. We were looking at the blue in there before. Any ideas what's going to happen to complete it?
Yeah, so the middle part will be water, and I think we've got a pretty good hint on what that will look like based on the sandbox. So that'll have the reflective and rippled water. Some of the blue things I'm not going to spoil because they're sort of surfaces and ceilings and stuff like that. So that'll get revealed very shortly. But there's still a ton to do, of course. But the object is to show people okay, this is the size, the layout, the space. People keep asking about the blue floating boxes and these pillars over here that are salmon and light blue. What do they do? What are they? How do they work? So lots of stuff that we're integrating. We've started with the TV. Now this place, as you can see by being in here, needs that bit of atmosphere, the bit of noise, the bit of colour and the splash. And most importantly, it needs things like games and engaging content so that people can come in here and really sort of spend a ton of time in here and want to come back and see what's being built.
For sure. And eventually the avatar will be able to use the citizens, so you won't have to dress up like Robin Hood anymore.
Nah, I'm actually just enjoying this little hair phase I'm going through, mate. It's a new lease on life. I have to budget for some shampoo and conditioner, mate.
I'll be careful what I say because you have a couple of knives on you at the moment. So
There you go.
all right, Benny, we better wrap it up. Is there any final updates for the week? What else is happening with the rest of the ecosystem?
Yeah, just obviously the game's getting closer. That's going through the certification process, which we've talked about, which is Cog's Quest. So looking forward to getting that out. We're still working madly on the finalising the apartments and the avatars, and then making sure that we've got everything ready to go for the Arkamoto quarter as stated. So it's just frenetic pace. We're going at a sustainable pace, but it's frenetic. And it's very difficult if you sort of go to sleep and wake up in the morning. A whole day has transpired in that time, so you're continually playing catch up. But it's fantastic, and it's a great little period that we're going through, and just looking forward to when that converts and people can come in here and start really using the environment. So thank you again for supporting us in the sale. Now we go to work on, and we'll come back and communicate how that will happen, but now we go to work on building a non-RFOX audience as much as we can for the second sale.
All right, and at that, we'll finish up. Have a great week, Benny.
You too, mate.